I thought for a change, instead of shooting videos, I'd do a quick video on my book collection. I'm mainly interested in military conflicts going from, say, the American Civil War up to the wars that we're still involved in today. And I'm also particularly interested in books regarding sniping, of which if I pan a few across here, you can see this is one shelf full. If we go up another shelf, I think I've possibly got nearly every sniper book that's been published, and I'm going to pull out a few specials in the second part of this video. So I thought I'd just show you what I've got at the moment. Come up here, another lot. And I'm also going to discuss some of my favourite authors. Here's the first book from my collection, which I think is probably the best manual on sniping there is. It's by Major John L. Plaster, USAR retired. He was a member of SOG in Vietnam, so he's got a long history of shooting, sniping, and it's a very comprehensive book. Covers everything: scopes, rifles, field expedient bipod there you can see, camo. So if you're like me, I'm quite interested in camouflage, heavy rifle sniping. It really is a comprehensive book, recommend it. Well worth the read. He's also written books about Vietnam and the studies and observation group that operated there. He was in that, so I definitely recommend that one. First book I ever bought on small arms was this one, Small Arms of the World. This is an old one, classic by W.H.B. Smith. And when I bought this, you had to go to the West End of London to buy it. They were so specialised. No, they weren't. Most shooting books weren't in ordinary bookshops. And this is a very comprehensive book. It covers a history, briefly, of firearms, but interestingly, it gives you field strip information on most of the popular rifles. Great read. Covers all major countries. A good section on German small arms and American and Japanese, British as well. So covers those in great detail. And you've got a special German small arms of World War II, which is very nice, very handy. I don't think you can get this book anymore. You see, you've got the Luger here, and it also tells you how to strip the Luger up here. I had one before they banned them. It was quite easy to field strip. But anyway, if you can see some, I bought this one from the US recently because I thought the edition had changed, but it's exactly the same as my original one, which I won't tell you when I got it, but I think I was still at school and it was probably about a couple of months pocket money to buy it. Very expensive if you can get a new one now, but they're very rare. So that's Small Arms of the World by Smith. Recommend that for anyone who's interested in firearms. Martin Pegler's a prolific author, mainly on books about sniping, the history of sniping. Very interesting. This is a good read, and it covers the beginnings, the sharpshooters, First World War, Very interesting book. I'd recommend most of his work. He's done a considerable amount of work on sniping history, so it's a good read. Goes right up to Iraq, Korean War, so it covers most of the major battles. And you can see this famous picture of this sniper pulling through his rifle with an aluminium pull through. Strictly against regulations, but apparently they all did it. Anyway, Martin Pegler, Out of Nowhere, very good. Okay, I managed to get hold of this, Sniping in France 1914 to 1918. Hesketh Pritchard. Now this really is the start of what you could call modern sniping. Very, very interesting book. A little bit strange to read now because First World War was so long ago. Interestingly, my father-in-law volunteered at 16 to go. He was in the King's Royal Rifles. Never spoke much about it. Got original drawings in here. Very interesting read. And if you read about the battles between Hesketh Pritchard and the officialdom, it's just quite incredible how backward looking they were, particularly as you probably know, the scopes on British service rifles, the Lee Enfield, were offset so they could still use charger clips. Absolutely bloody ridiculous. Captain Shaw with British snipers to the right. This is another great read. I recommend that. Not so many illustrations as some of the others, but a very good read just the same. Lastly, we've got A Rifleman Went to War by Herbert W. McBride. This is republished, but it's quite a rare book. Very interesting. You've got articles about pistols in war, sighting shots. So I'd recommend all of those three for anyone interested in the history of sniping. Max Hastings is another writer who I buy most of his books. A great historian. He covers mainly the Second World War. This one is actually about the Falklands. And there's a picture of him on the front. He's been knighted now, so he's Sir Max Hastings. And he was apparently the first man into Fort Stanley after we'd kicked the Argentinians out. So again, I don't think there's many there's a few illustrations in here, but this is just good history, well written. There's our boys going in there, and you'll note, if you can see over the shine of the lamp there, the SLR. I think that was the last major battle that it was used in. I had one before they banned them, loved it. This is another Max Hastings book. This is specifically about the fight for Japan. Again, well researched, good read, nice and thick. I like a thick book. So I definitely recommend Max Hastings. Another good war historian is Anthony Beevor. He's written some really good books, very well researched. You've got your maps. This is about D-Day. Covers all the beach landings. Some nice pictures I haven't seen before. So Anthony Beevor, definitely recommend him. He's written them about, this is the one, the downfall of Berlin. Very interesting. So, oh, there's old Heinrich practicing his pistol shooting. Note the hand on hip, very stylish. So Anthony Beevor, another good author. This is a book by Peter Senich, and it covers in really great detail the different rifles used in Vietnam for sniping, scopes, even goes down to sort of serial number issues. Lots of illustrations. This man has really researched his work, and when you think that the type of scope particularly they use, then how far we've come. But a very interesting book. So I'd recommend that. He's written others. I think he's written one just about the Remington. I might be wrong there, but he's written a fair number of books about the equipment. You can see there. It's an interesting. I think that's a Unertal with a recoil spring. A lot of people took that spring off, I think. And there's Hathcock. I think he's just won a prize there for long range shooting. So that's another book that I'd recommend to you. Now here's one more. I should have done this one, I was static, but this is Firearms. I'll just go around here and put this down. Excuse me, I'm off the tripod. This is Firearms in the American West, and it is this is Pegler again, you can see. Very interesting book. I think when I was a kid, all I ever thought cowboys had was a Winchester Model 94 and a Colt revolver. But it's amazing how many pistols and rifles were about then. And also he mentions the shotgun, which apparently was very popular. So I recommend that book. It's a good read. And you can see how nice some of these pistols are. Very expensive now, but it covers a whole gamut really. I'm interested, there's quite a few British ones there. So when we had an industry as Smith & Wesson. What one was this? Navy Colt, 1861. And I don't think everyone wore Levi's in those days. So once I grew up, I wasn't disappointed, because everyone looked the same, didn't they? Or they looked like Hopalong Cassidy, sort of 1950s. Two silver Colts. And just because Hoppy leaves his raincoat off, kids, it doesn't mean you can. Anyway, that is another good book. Okay, this is the last of the collection. I just come along here. Anthony Beevor on Stalingrad. I've got a few books on Stalingrad. Bloody terrible that was. And one of my favourite authors, this is a biography of George Orwell. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that quick view of my collection. If anyone wants a particular book put up or commented on, just leave a comment or send me a PM. Thanks for watching.